radio DJ at KPCA 103.3 FM, Petaluma, California. And tonight is VinylView, an episode where my guest makes me a playlist. There's one catch though. The song they choose have to come from actual records that they have in their collection. The reason behind this limitation is that records go beyond hipsterdom and my enormous mustache. Music has had a large impact on all of us, whether it's personally or professionally, no matter what industry you work in. Let's be honest, records are expensive and they occupy a great deal of space. So it's a lot to say when someone chooses to keep them and continue collecting. Vinyl is also a physical representation of a person's history and character. Tonight, my guest is Brian Tatko, owner of 2 bars in Sonoma County, Jameson's Roaring Donkey in Petaluma, and the 8 Ball in Cotati. Tonight, we will talk about vinyl collecting, how music has influenced him both personally and professionally, and we will also talk about the tracks that he chose. Brian, how we doing?
If I was nervous, it's all gone as soon as I saw that you kept the new Pringles mustache.
Yes.
So that
so you can relax. The mustache is very calming.
It's very, very soothing. Very, very soothing.
So let me ask you, why do you collect vinyl?
I think I started collecting vinyl just because I saw Mike Potter, his passion for how much excited he was to collect vinyl, and my other buddy Bob was selling a lot of his vinyl to pay for school and a bunch of other stuff, and I could see the sadness in his face, and I was like, why is everybody so into vinyl? And I started getting into it myself, and it's just a different, you do feel cooler. I do feel cooler owning more vinyl, and there's something different about taking out a record and it's like its cover's half destroyed, but then you open it up and it's just that glossy, beautiful, whether it's black or colorful, it just comes out and then you throw it and you see all the mechanics of it all moving. It just feels better. And when you visually see it all happening and you experience it and then you hear it and it's a little more dirty and grittier, then you get more excited about what you're listening to than just clicking on Spotify. Because, if you're on Spotify, sometimes you won't even finish a song and you'll click on the next one and you'll move on. Records make you sit down and really enjoy the whole process of it. So it's more entertaining and more fun. And records seem to go with almost everything. Cooking, taking a bath, sitting in the living room. Almost everybody has a portable record, like a little suitcase player now. You can bring it out with you wherever you go. It's just a better experience, I think, overall.
Yeah, there's definitely something very unique about vinyl, whether from an audiophile or aesthetic standpoint. When did you start collecting, or when did you become more about collecting records than actually buying music?
Yeah, I think it was like CDs. I would just collect. I was like in BMI, and I would just buy as many as I could so I could fill that tower, so the tower didn't look empty. That big CD tower that every kid had, and then like MP3s, I was like a Napster kid stealing everything that I could get a hold of. And then after I started getting records, it felt right. So I just started going after just almost anything I could get my hands on. I didn't even really care about the quality. And then Spotify kind of ruined everything for a little while. And I went, it was just so easy to get a hold of every song. And then when I moved in with where I currently live with my girlfriend, we got a new record player. I got her a new record player, and then we just kind of started collecting again. And then it was like, Sundays, you go down to the record store. That's like a thing. That's like a fun thing to do. So like recollecting became not just a hobby. It was like a little bit of a hobby, but then also just a little bit of not like a passion, but like just fun, just good fun to it's a new way of enjoying music than just throwing on songs on your phone.
So what roles has music played in your career as a bartender?
So when we got our bars, we had the jukebox, but we still wanted people to be able to come in and play their, Sonos and play their Spotify playlist. And we let the people that were working create their own playlist, because it should be whoever the bartender is. You come to see that bartender. You come to be at the bar those nights that they work. Because you enjoy that person's personality. So you want that person's personality to come across in the playlist that they're playing with the music. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes you got to go over and hand somebody $1 and be like, dude, we're not playing Slayer at noon on a Sunday.
Yeah, right. There's a time and place for
But there are
both.
some nights where that's the perfect jam, you know? You never know. We've got this one customer that comes in. Her name's Lou. She's got a little dog named French Fry. And I swear to God, she's the greatest DJ on earth. But when she comes in, she'll play like one or two of the same songs from time to time. But for the most part, she puts songs out there, and you're like, fuck, I haven't heard this song in like 20 years. I forgot about this, or you're Shazamming because you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So she's like, you get little treasures like her that walk in that kind of reinvent your music wheel. And then I love doing it for trivia night. It's fun because we do categories and we get to play songs. And again, some people request songs. So hosting trivia is really fun, not just for the nerdy trivia stuff and being around groups of people, but it's the music, playing music all night. And music round's always the favorite round. Almost always the favorite route because everybody gets a chance to sing and you got the whole place singing. We had talked and we wanted to do kind of like the bargain bin record collection, and it's hard not to grab your other records and throw those in there because I wanted to stick with the theme. So I did pretty good.
So that was going to be my question was, what's your approach for tonight, which you did all dollar records?
Pretty much anything. Well, there's like, it's mostly the discount bin, so they're the dollar. Nowadays, they're $1.99.
Or get it high up there. Sometimes it's $2.99, $3.99. What I like about this concept, the bargain bin, is that I feel like there's a monetary motive attached behind records where there doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, I found The Clash for $1 in a bargain bin. Mm-hmm. And so you can find some really great things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth it. Maybe the condition's not great, but...
Well, for the most part, the condition's not too bad, though. I mean, it's weird, too, because they store all their records, even at the Goodwill stores, they store them standing up, like in pretty good condition. Some of them are not even opened or they're resealed. So that you can find gems there, like no matter what, especially if you go to a place like the Last Record Store in Santa Rosa, they take really good care of everything.
Yeah. Let's get to what you picked. What playlist did you make for me? Now, again, this is only what he has on vinyl. This is my one stipulation. You have to own it physically on an analog medium.
The first record that I've got, this one is, I only bought this, literally only bought this one. The only reason I bought it was because it had a football on it, had a football in the front, football on the back, and it says Bob James Touchdown. It's one of those bands with like 900 members. That's the band. It's like a whole family.
Jazz and stuff.
There's not much lyrics, but there is not a single song on this vinyl has anything to do with sports. So I have no idea, and we'll get into later some of my problems with the names of records, but it has nothing to do with sports. But the best song on there is the theme from Taxi. It's called Angela, which I have no idea why. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything good on it. So I found this was my second Randy Newman record. It's still got the $1.99. But the song I picked from here is really cool because it's Randy Newman, who's like the nicest guy on earth, and he's slowly, like, it's a ballad of him talking about how he's about to fuck this other dude up. And it's him slowly building up, like, you're gonna go to the hospital, I'm gonna mess you up. He's talking shit to the guy's girlfriend, the rest of his friends, and this dude like really has like no idea, he doesn't know what he's getting into, but the whole time you're like, it's Randy Newman, like I could beat Randy Newman up. So this is Arlo Guthrie. But I said Arlo Guthrie, I'm not even sure which way to say it anymore. And the song that I ended up going with is called Darkest Hour. And the Darkest Hour is kind of just like a very kind of like political, like times are like kind of messed up song. And I realized that the whole record is kind of like one big protest song. But I probably wouldn't have pulled this out, for a long, long time, unless for another reason, had all that like kind of stuff happen. And I forgot how much really good protest music there is outside of just like general punk rock songs and Rage and Anti-Flag and all of those bands. So I kind of got lucky. It was like just luck that I went back to this record, during this time. So that's my Arlo Guthrie one. This one, Jesse Winchester, I got this because I thought it was going to be a honky tonk because it's called Talk Memphis. It's very like honky tonk looking. Like it just looks like it's going to be like, rhythm and blues, fast paced. So I was super excited. I mean, it says Talk Memphis. Then you look at the back. and you realize that this guy is like a Kenny Loggins clone. And I started to get like super nervous, and I was like, I don't think this is gonna be what I thought it was gonna be, and it's not. But the record's great. Like if you just kind of want to like, if it's like a warm day and you're drinking like at home and it's the afternoon, this is your record. It's just the exact opposite of, don't judge a record by its cover, because this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's just very like Hawaiian melodical, like 80s tunes. So, but it's great. And the song that I think I picked for this was Say What. And when you hear it, you'll hear all of that like little like island influence. All right, next record.
Do it.
This is Alan Parsons' project. I at the record store saw 3 of these records, not this one, but 3 different Alan Parsons project records, and I had no idea where they were. But it was one of those names you're like, do they have a hit song? Do I not know this? And track number 1 is Lucifer. So I went with this one. I was like, all right, the first song's about the devil. If I'm gonna get into Alan Parsons' project, why not? And believe it or not, probably the most let down song on this record is Lucifer. So I was a little bit bummed.
That's how they got you in, but they didn't deliver.
They sucked me in, and then the inside. I don't know, the whole thing. This is one of those records where they have like hot royal British chicks on the both sides, and then you go inside, and it's just it's like Luke Skywalker's heroin looking brother on Tatooine, like place. Like, it's just one of those records that just doesn't make any sense. This is Evangeline from Emmylou Harris. And I bought this record because I didn't know that much about her, but there's a band called First Aid Kit, and they sing a song called Emmylou. Is that the name of it? Okay, got confirmation. And it was one of the songs that I like sent to Sierra when I was trying to have sex with her. And so then I was like, well, I should probably get one of the records that has to do, with that song. Maybe it'll be good. It turned out she's fantastic. So I had no idea what I was kind of getting into. Even though we have the record, I did ask if we could play and I found it for you and put it in the playlist. It's the band and Emmylou Harris version. The music's a little bit better, and she does a better vocal arrangement on that version than on the record. But I would have never found that had I not, not found the Last Waltz, had I not bought this record. And you got to give like a little high five to Martin Scorsese, because he was one of the first guys to be like, yeah, there's the band and Bob Dylan, all these people, but also Joni Mitchell's fucking amazing, and so is Emmylou Harris. And he was one of the first directors to like really kind of put that all together and showcase them. But trying to collect her records, you need it probably cost you $200 at the $1.99 bin, because she's got so many records. So this next one, I was into a band called Madball, and then they were like this like Latino band out of LA, and they were like a hardcore, just like kind of like half rap, half metal, like rock and roll band. And this looked like a bad B-movie version of that band. Then you listen to the record, and it's like a total Americana album. They're super talented. They look like a bunch of Hispanic werewolves. And they don't look very good, but they're like the exact opposite of what I thought. I was glad I got this record, and I got it for 89 cents.
Nice.
So you can't beat that.
That's a bargain.
Yeah. Sometimes I get Peter, Paul, and Mary when I was first record collecting and starting to get into music. I got them confused with Wings.
Okay.
And I knew the Puff the Magic Dragon song, but I didn't know that it was Peter, Paul, and Mary. I was thinking Paul McCartney. I just got very confused. And I have 3 Peter, Paul, and Mary records, and they're the most boring band in the entire world. Next one is Ian Hunter. And this is like it's just a fucking great record. But it's also one of those, one of my favorite things about records is when you find like people used to label their records like back in the days. Uh-huh. So this one was from the music library of Alan Johnson. Like he had his own like Bart Simpson when he fell down the well label maker. And so I don't know where Alan Johnson is in the world, but I think he's an idiot for throwing this record away. And I'm glad he did, because I got it for $1. Now this one, I have no idea how it was $1.99, but this is Peter Townsend's Scoop. And everybody knows, well, most people know Peter Townsend's from The Who. And it's all of these demo tracks that he recorded in San Francisco and UK and everything. And he wanted everyone to hear the songs before they became like overproduced. I got this record and it's got the best version of Behind Blue Eyes on it. And it's just kind of him playing. And then even when the song starts to ramp up, it's just him wailing on the guitar harder to kind of give it that energy. But it still got that good raw feel to it. And then, so that's my favorite version. The worst version of that song is Limp Bizkit.
I hope you would say that.
Anyways, moving on. Joe Jackson, I'm the Man. Again, I didn't know when I bought this record, I didn't know that much about Joe Jackson. And I thought this was going to be like, kind of like Run DMC rap. Because if you look at the cover, you know, he's got like the black leather hat and he's like selling like merchandise out of its like the side. And he looks like he's probably wearing some like, Brian Setzer Orchestra swing shoes or some bowling shoes or something. And then you get the record and it's like the exact opposite. I think Joe Jackson's just as good as The Clash in some ways. He's fantastic. That's one of those ones I think people, when they listen to the playlist, I think they'll like the most. Or they'll listen to it and not look at the things and be like, oh, he's got a Clash song on here. But it's not. So then I went with, so this one, when I got separated from my ex and we were doing that thing where you put all the records out. And I knew that she was taking some of my records that she did not like because she knew it would hurt me. And it did. So I started grabbing records that I thought that she liked to hurt her, to make sure that I would, to level the playing field. And I took Ricky Lee Jones, and the record's called Pirates. So this is my breakup record, and I love it. And Ricky Lee Jones is somebody you should check out, but this is the best out of all of her stuff. I like. So now we're going to
a pretty heavy note there. The breakup.
I know.
Records.
I know. We're going to get into somewhere we're just going to be like, it's Bill Withers. See ya. So this is the record that got me into all records. And I went over to Mike's house and we were smoking weed, and I didn't smoke weed that often, but if I did, I would always go to Mike's house usually, or Bob's. And so we were over there smoking weed, and he was putting on records, and Mike has this habit of like pulling out a record and you're like, we're going to listen to Henry Mancini right now. And he's like, yeah, trust me. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then he's like, oh yeah, how about some Harry Belafonte? And he'll put those on. And you're like, what is happening to my life right now? Like, so he put this song on and I was like, is this the Beatles? And I was like, what version of this is it? And he was like, no, it's a band called Rare Earth. And they're covering Eleanor Rigby. And it's the best Beatles cover out of every Beatles cover that's ever been done. This is the best Beatles cover I've ever heard. And I went home that night and I tried to find it on whatever music sharing service I was using. I couldn't find it. And I went down to Watts Music in Novato, and I tried to get the CD, and he didn't have it, and he only had it on vinyl. And then like a month later, Potter bought me my own record player. And this was the first one that I went down and I bought. So this was my first record. It's what got me to buy records. I threw in Bill Withers because I got it
first
for
off, you did not throw in Bill Withers. There's nothing wrong with
throw in. He was in the $4.99 stack. He was one of the ones where you're going through. The record was in perfect condition. Inside the cover, everything. It's got like the original like UPC stickers on it. Everything about it, and it's a best of album. So it's like you got like all of his best songs on one record. It's impossible to not pick a song that you don't like. So now we're gonna do two. I've got Stevie Wonder's Talking Book, which even if this was another one where the record was $7.99, but it was in the bin. I took it. It was in great shape. And then David Bowie. Sometimes at the dollar store they give you, or not the dollar store, the record store, they put like little blue stickers on the things, and they're like anything with a blue sticker is only $3. So I took the blue stickers off some of the old records and put them on good records, and then kind of somewhat robbed the thrift store because I'm a bad person. But seeing that I was able to get both of these in the collection, I had to put them in. And then one of the craziest things about this song, and I think that your girlfriend Stella, her favorite David Bowie song, one of her favorites is "Young Americans." She was telling me recently, and it's one of the least played David Bowie songs on Spotify. It's like behind Diamond Dogs and everything. Yeah, it's only got like 20 million plays, where everything else is like, almost in the billions. Which
So underplayed, jeez.
It's super underplayed. It's such a great song. And then obviously the Stevie Wonder. I mean, it starts with "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," this record, and then it ends with "I Believe When I Fall in Love." So then I got what do I got here? I got "Free." So my dad listened to these guys, and I called him and asked him because I didn't know why. You could also see still on this record where it's got the yellow sticker that you peeled off and threw on. But I got it at the last record store like a week ago, and I was like, shit, I got to get this record and get it home. I got it home and I already owned it.
That's happened. Yeah.
So if we want to do a giveaway, I've got a used copy that we can give to a still home listener because I bought a record that I already owned just so I could talk about it because I loved it and I remember that I already owned it. Then I've got "Close to You," the Carpenters. And the reason I got this record is I'm a big fan of like in movies like Top Gun, where they sing like, a song and that becomes like that major part of the movie. Everyone will always remember Unchained Melody,
sure.
Them singing that. So my dad took us to see Parenthood with Steve Martin. And at the end of the movie, Rick Moranis, to win back his girlfriend, he sings "Close to You" from the or not "Close to You," excuse me. We've only just begun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's singing her the song, and that becomes like, it just gets stuck in your head. A couple of Elvis records, but this one, I didn't know which record it was when I bought it, and I didn't have like my cool iPhone back then. It was like the old like Samsung where it would take like 10 minutes to dial things up. But it's also the song that I chose was, what the hell song did I choose?
Falling in Love.
Falling in Love. Then the Animals, I used to play in a punk band called TLA, which stands for three-letter acronym. And we used to play a upbeat, fast version of House of the Rising Sun. And this is another one of those records where they put out a UK version and a US version. And the UK version is way cleaner and more like the production on it is still like, got that like gritty sound to it, but it's just a little, they're more like it's tighter. It's a tighter recording and a little more upbeat. So I've got the American version of it, but I cheated again and I put the UK version on the list for you. This is one of my least favorite album titles ever. So this was 10 Cents, and it's Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
And the name of the record is "Celebrate Me Home." And I thought, what a stupid fucking album name. It makes no sense. But "Lady Luck" is like a total pimp song. Like you could see yourself walking down the street with the cane and the big hat. It's just like this total like cheesy pimp song, but a great song. Next I got Jim Croce. I learned more about Jim Croce from Lou, who I was talking about early, because she always plays Bad Boy Leroy Brown, and I miss her coming into the bar. I miss being at the bar every day and learning like certain stuff from her. So I always say that this is like, remember when Jock Jams came out? It had like every junior high, ESPN, whatever, like Jock Jams went with everything when I was like, like 13 years old. Jock Jams was like the greatest album ever made. This was like the Jock Jams of the 70s. It's good for parties. It's good for lovemaking. It's good for doing dishes. It's perfect. It's an overall perfect record.
It's a Brian endorsement.
It's a Brian endorsement. Okay, so this record's Peebo Bryson. I had no clue who Peebo Bryson is.
I
This
love
was
that even if you didn't know what it was, you still bought it. And I think that says a
okay.
lot
So
about
I bought it because it's him, and he's doing the '80s thing where he's got no shirt on, but he's got the blazer, and he's got like 5 chest hairs. He's like more than me, but he's got like 5 chest hairs, and like this lady's laying white roses down at his feet, like he's like the ultimate man. I was like, who the fuck is Peebo Bryson? Like, it sounds amazing. And to take no prisoners, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this. And then on the back, it's her, like, succumbing to his awesomeness. Earth, Wind, and Fire's next. I want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. There's another one of those bands that has, like, 19 people in it. I want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was thinking about this last night. I want to see them fight George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, like in a battle royale, Hunger Games to the death. No music. I want like an actual fight. He knows at least the name Earth, Wind, and Fire, but like their album covers are all kind of like this, just super like acid, like Freon air conditioner huffing ass, like craziness. I got the Platters. I went with The Great Pretender because it was in, shout out to Petaluma, it was in American Graffiti. She plays it on the radio during American Graffiti. So I was like, I remembered that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it in there. It's obviously a fantastic song, but it's also got a little Petaluma American Graffiti ties to it. So I wanted to add that one in. Right? I got the Seekers, with Georgie Girl, and I bought this record, even though I know the Seekers and I know them, but I have a dog named George. It's just a great record, but I only really bought this one because it had my dog's name in the album, and that's it. I was 97 cents. Then I got one of my favorite songs is Neil Diamond's Solitary Man. So I got Solitary Man in the divorce. This is another steal. I don't remember when I bought this, or I know that I got this record at the Novato Goodwill. But Solitary Man, I think, is Neil Diamond's best song. I've got Poems and Prayers and Promises by John Denver. And I was born in Denver, Colorado. My parents would play this record a lot when I was a kid. My dad literally only had Burt Camford and then 30 other records, but he played this one a bunch. It's got, fantastic songs on it, but I mean, it's got Take Me Home Country Road. Everybody knows that song. It's a fantastic song to play. I liked it because when we were taking an RV through Colorado, we started playing John Denver. So I was born in Denver, but didn't get to see the Rockies again until I was older. Then I ended with what I consider to be, I have a list of what I think are the top 10 perfect records. And it's a weird list. It's everything from Metallica's Black Album to the Grosse Pointe Blank soundtrack. I've got a bunch of weird Stone Temple Pilots are in there. I've got a bunch, but this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, one of my favorite records. Every single song on it is wonderful. It's Against Me is the name of the band. The lead singer was Tom Gable, and he transitioned, and he's now Laura Jane Grace. She is now Laura Jane Grace. I've seen her play at Riot Fest in Chicago. I've seen her at the Mystic Theaters. I've seen her at Slim's, Warfield, Warped Tour. I've seen them everywhere, and no matter what the energy that they bring to a crowd, I have nothing but good memories. It was hard to pick a song because they're all so fantastic, but I picked Walking is Still Honest because it has my favorite song line, which is, won't anybody tell me why God won't speak to me, why Jesus never called on me to part the fucking seas. And that reminded me of when I was 15, 16 years old listening to punk rock. And when you get to that age where you're I don't know if God exists. I don't know if my parents are full of shit. I don't know if anything is true anymore. And this record is a soundtrack for every kid that got to that age. And so it's one of the most important records in my life. One of the most important bands in my life. I still love them. I don't care if he's a man or a woman. It's just fantastic fucking music. So I thought I'd end with one of my favorite bands and my favorite song line. And then that's all my records.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to assume that was not in the bargain bin, though.
That did not make the bargain bin. I totally lied on that one.
Brian Tatko, I want to thank you for coming on and taking the time to make a playlist for me. If you want to listen to his playlist that he created, go to kpca.fm and 103.3 FM, where will be the live broadcast. If you miss it, check out the link below, where I will publish that for listening later. Brian, thank you very much. I had a blast.
Had a blast too. Thanks, buddy.